Good morning, friends. My name is Ishvinder Singh. I work at Livinginnz, and this is a video which basically is an attempt to give some information around entrepreneur class visas or business class visas. We have received a lot of questions around business class visas in the last 1 month, and I'd like to post this video so that all of those and beyond those who've asked the questions may be able to share this information and benefit from it. So I've just condensed the questions that we've been asked in the 2 points that you see on your screen. One being, is studying in New Zealand the only pathway for a residency, especially for someone who's a mid-career businessman and may not be inclined towards being that academic or going down that path. The other option is, or the other question is, sorry, please provide information on business opportunities or investment opportunities that may lead to New Zealand residency. So we'll examine this in the following few minutes. So first of all, the disclaimer, the information contained in this presentation does not constitute immigration advice. This is just a customer service exercise, and the aforementioned information is subject to change without notice at any time. For your specific instance, please contact us for a no obligation free consultation, and you can either check with us or you can check with Immigration New Zealand. The website address is provided on your screen. We are situated very close to Queen Street, Auckland Central, 300 Richmond Road, which is about 3-4 kilometers from Queen Street, in Grey Lynn, and you can make an appointment with me on the phone number that's provided, or email me, and we can have a one-on-one free consultation, and there are no strings attached, no obligations. So we'll examine the business immigration categories. The business immigration categories basically has two kinds of visas, temporary entry visas, and then from there one may go to residence class visas. So under the temporary entry, we have the entrepreneur work visa, which I've marked as bold on the screen, which is coded BB, and that offers a pathway for residency under the entrepreneur residence category, which is coded BH, and that's what we'll examine, how this happens. There are other the classifications, other residence class category visas as well. The most important being a migrant investor, BJ, which essentially applies to very high net worth individuals who may be interested in investing a certain threshold amount of money in New Zealand, and based on that they can apply for residency. But for this video we will deal with the BB and the BH class, the entrepreneur work visa and the entrepreneur residence visas. So there are certain conditions for entrepreneur work visa, and those conditions are listed on your screen, being health and character. There's a point scale on which you need to score at least 120 points. You must be proficient in English to a certain level. You must submit a business plan. You must demonstrate suitable business experience. And you must have adequate level of funds. Why the business plan is required and the relevance of adequate level of funds, we will examine in the next slides. So the way the process works is that the entrepreneur work visa is divided into two steps, a 1-year entrepreneur startup visa and a 2-year entrepreneur balance visa. For the entrepreneur startup visa, you may be onshore you may be in New Zealand, or you may be offshore, and you need to submit a business plan to the business migration branch in Wellington, and the business plan should there should be a minimum investment. Your plan should include a minimum investment level of 100,000 New Zealand dollars, which does not include the working capital of the business. So either you're buying an existing business, or you are setting up a new business, but the condition is the investment condition, the minimum investment threshold is $100,000 plus the working capital of the business. And also, the business should benefit New Zealand. Now, benefit New Zealand happens to be a legal term in this context, and what it means is that any and every business will not qualify, um, for the grant of entrepreneur startup visa. So, at this stage, you're welcome to contact us, and we can put you on the right track for the business plan and what kind of business requirements are there, so that you can get your entrepreneur startup visa, 1 year entrepreneur startup visa. Now, at the end of this 12-month term, you need to apply for the entrepreneur balance visa. So then you again go back to immigration and you demonstrate that you have taken these steps to operationalize the business plan that you had initially submitted, and you've reached so far. And based on that, you can be granted the entrepreneur balance visa. The next steps in entrepreneur balance visa are that you have to show that your business has started, and it is operational as per the business plan that you had submitted. If there are deviations, then they need to be explained. And once your business has been in operation for 3 years, so that is 1 year while establishing it and 2 years after that, then you can apply for the resident visa under entrepreneur category. So after 2 years, when uh, the entrepreneur balance visa expires, and then you have to now apply for residency, you must have met these conditions. So you must have lawfully you must have been lawfully self-employed employed in New Zealand for 2 years. You must have been benefiting New Zealand significantly. So, and on your screen you see what the generic definitions of benefiting New Zealand are, including introducing new or enhancing old technological, management, or technical skills. You must create employment other than for yourself in New Zealand. You must introduce new or enhance existing products or services, uh, creating new or expanding existing export markets, revitalizing a New Zealand business. So that is a gist of what constitutes benefiting New Zealand, or the conditions that your business needs to satisfy. And then you apply for residency, and if you've met those conditions, then the residency is approved. Of course, this is not done postscript. So what that means is that these conditions are built even before you start the whole process, and these conditions are built into the business plan. You buy a business or you operate a business which satisfies these conditions. So at the end of the 3 year term, these conditions are not postscript. They were already there even before you started the whole process, or even at the start of the process. So there's a shorter pathway to residency. That's let's say if your investment level is beyond a certain threshold, and I'll come to that. There is a quicker way of getting residency. So once you've got your entrepreneur startup visa, which I've explained in the past slides, you can apply for entrepreneur category residence after 6 months instead of 2 years, based on the following. So how you can apply for residency within, after 6 month period. So you must have an entrepreneur work visa, and the investment in entrepreneur work visa, that's the first part, entrepreneur startup visa, and your investment should be at least $500,000 in New Zealand business, and that does not include the working capital. You must create 3 new full-time jobs. So if you satisfy these conditions, then conditional residency is granted, and those conditions are subject to those conditions will remain in force for 2 years. So that means that at the initial outset you apply for entrepreneur startup visa, and if your business plan is such that the investment threshold and the jobs threshold is met, then after 6 months you can apply for conditional residency. Those conditions remain in force for 2 years, which relate with maintaining the investment level and job creation level and self-employment level. And at the end of the 2-year term, the conditions on that residency visa are removed. There's also a direct pathway for being an entrepreneur, for entrepreneur class visas. So let's say if we have a couple situation where a partner of a student who's on an open work visa. What that means is that the above partner is self-employed in a business, because open work visas do not exclude self-employment. So if the partner of a student who is on an open work visa starts a business and is self-employed in that business for 2 years, they may apply for residency on account of having established a business in New Zealand for 2 years. So this slide explains who is eligible for a special work visa or open work visa, which then in turn allows you to set up a business, as explained in the previous slide, that having an open work visa does not exclude you from setting up your own business. So for eligibility of a special work visa or open work visa, the partners of people who are granted student visas to study for level 7 or higher qualification in an area of absolute skill shortage as specified in the long-term skill shortage list. So let's say if the wife is studying and is doing a course which satisfies these conditions, level 7 or higher qualifications in an area of absolute skill shortage, then the husband can get a entrepreneur class visa, or can get an open work permit, can get an open work permit, which then allows him to set up his own business. And then based on that business being operational for 2 years and him being self-employed for 2 years in New Zealand, he can then make an application for New Zealand residency. Or the second condition is people granted student visas to study towards postgraduate qualification. So in this case, let's say the wife who's doing a postgraduate degree, and by virtue of her student visa, the husband is allowed an open work visa. That open work visa allows him to set up a business, and that also opens up a pathway for residency based on that business being operational and him being self-employed in that business for 2 years. If you have any further questions on this, please contact us, because this slide and this video does not contain all the information. I'd like to thank and acknowledge Immigration New Zealand for information on this subject. As I mentioned earlier, you're more than welcome to contact us, because this video has time constraints and does not contain all the information that may apply to you and may be relevant to you. So do feel free to contact us. You are welcome to leave your comments on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll endeavor to get back in touch with you and respond to you individually. Thank you very much, and you have a good day. Bye bye.